and welcome to another show. We appreciate you for tuning in tonight. Thank you all for watching. I'm Todd T. Riley.
I'm Scott Johnston.
And I'm Michelle Bench-Novak.
And we are
The Sound Effects.
Of course, we can't forget our man, Doug, back there behind the scenes. Thanks for all you do, Doug. Appreciate you. It's good to have you back since you weren't able to make it last week. It always helps when you got somebody behind the scenes doing something so you don't have to try to do that while you're talking on the air at the same time. Tonight we have a special guest interview for you with the band Crush Tone. We're going to have that interview coming up on the show along with some of their music, so you will not want to miss out on that.
You know what else you don't want to miss out on?
The show
make
poll.
sure the show poll. Wow, how did you know I was going to say that?
I was reading your mind, man.
So the show poll for this week we have, what is the better album? Ozzy Osbourne, Bark at the Moon, or Ozzy Osbourne? What is this one? Because this isn't the one that I was really. I thought you were going to pick another one. No Rest for the Wicked. I think the reason why you did that is because Randy Rhoads and Jakey Lee.
It was after Randy Rhoads, both of those, and the first one was Jakey Lee, and if the other one was Zakk Wylde's first.
Zakk Wylde.
So it's basically which premier album of either one of those guys was better, you know.
Which
it's a tough call.
A lot of you people know that this is probably a real tough decision. Get your votes in. We still got a little while to do that, and then we shall go from there. And then, we'll be talking about Ozzy in a little bit. We got some news to share with that.
Yeah, so let's get into that news.
Very
Let's
good.
kick it off.
Let's do it.
So this is actually a This Week in History story, but I found it worthy of the news section because it deserves more than just a mere mention of what happened on April 12th in 1954. And so, there's just so much to talk about on this because it's such a monumental thing. On that day, Bill Haley and the Comets recorded the song that started the rock era, believe it or not. It was their biggest hit and is one of the most important records in rock and roll history, and that song is Rock Around the Clock. Sales of the song started slowly since it was the only a B-side. The belated success of Rock Around the Clock is attributed to its use in the soundtrack of the film Blackboard Jungle, which was released on March 19th in 1955. The song was re-released to coincide with the film and shifted to a singles A-side where it rose to the top of the American charts that summer and stayed there for 8 weeks. And it was the very first rock and roll record to ever do so, which is a really cool thing. Other firsts that this band can lay claim to include the song Rudy's Rock, which being the very first instrumental hit of the rock and roll era. And they were also the very first rock and roll performers to appear on CBS television musical variety program The Ed Sullivan Show, or Toast of the Town, on Sunday, August 7th, 1955. They were also the first major American rock and roll act to tour the world. So that's, I thought that very newsworthy because, a lot of firsts in there for this band.
Absolutely.
In 1956, the group appeared in two of the earliest full rock and roll movies with Alan Freed, Rock Around the Clock. If you don't know who Alan Freed was, if I'm correct, he was the guy who coined the phrase rock and roll. And the other movie was Don't Knock the Rock. The Platters were co-stars in the first movie, and Little Richard appeared in the second. And although Chubby Checker and Hank Ballard were credited with starting the twist craze here in America, I found this rather interesting because I didn't know it at all. In Mexico and Latin America, Bill Haley and his Comets were proclaimed the kings of the twist, all thanks to the success of the songs Twist Espanol and Florida Twist in 1962, which was for a time the biggest selling single in Mexican history. Wow. In 1974, Haley's original Decca recording of Rock Around the Clock hit the American sales charts once again, thanks to its use in the film American Graffiti. And of course, everybody knows it from the television show Happy Days.
Happy Days.
Happy Days.
More than 100 musicians. That's pretty amazing.
That's
More than 100 musicians performed with Bill Haley and his Comets between 1952 and Haley's death in 1981. That's an astounding number of musicians to be Comets.
That's amazing. A lot of people actually I know they credit Bill Haley in the comments with Rock Around the Clock, but a lot of people actually think Ike Turner and the Kings of Rhythm had the first rock and roll song with 455. Well, what is it? Rocket 88. Rocket 88.
Rocket
You guys
88,
remember that?
Yeah, I do
Rocket
remember
with
that.
Jackie, but it wasn't released as Ike. What was the name that was released on it? Jackie Bernstein?
I
Bernstein?
don't recall.
Yeah, so some
But I
people-
do know that Bill Haley was credited as being the very first white guy to introduce rock and roll to the white.
Should we thank him, or
population,
because
so-
now it's like all of our addiction, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know, absolutely, right?
Yeah, I
So-
mean, a lot of people think it might have been Elvis Presley because Elvis became so known for playing black soul music and making it rock.
Absolutely.
But it really wasn't. Actually, it was Bill Haley. In fact, when he was on tour, in that world tour, when he was the first one to tour the world like that, he was over, I believe, in Germany, and Elvis Presley came backstage to see him live in concert and stuff. You know,
Long live rock and roll.
yeah,
Look at
very
that.
cool.
You
So
know?
that's a
Very
pretty
cool.
cool thing. So.
All right, guys. So Rod Stewart is set for a rare reunion with Jeff Beck. Rod Stewart will take the stage with Jeff Beck at the Hollywood Bowl, a little more than 5 decades since they made their U.S. debut together. The rare concert appearance will be held September 27th. Tickets will go on sale Friday at livenation.com. Their last extended set together took place more than 35 years ago.
That's pretty awesome.
That
I would
is.
love to see that show.
Oh my gosh, me
would
too.
be-
Absolutely.
I've seen both Rod and Jeff separately.
Now
and
I'm
they
jealous.
Both
I've never
are just
seen Jeff.
incredible.
saw
Oh,
Jeff
Jeff's.
Beck with you, as a matter of fact.
That's right, you did, didn't you? Jeff's
Oh, you guys
incredible.
went together?
Jeff's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, did you get a call from Todd saying you want to go to see Jeff Beck? Yeah, I'd like to. Okay, I'm going to be at your house in 10 minutes.
I was like, would
Okay,
you say
all
no
right.
to that? Really? You know? So Beck recruited Stewart for his self-titled Post-Yardbirds band in February of 1967. Their first show in the U.S. followed in 1968 when the Jeff Beck Group opened for the Grateful Dead at the Fillmore East. They released Truth and Beck Ola together before Stewart departed in 1969. Both LPs reached number 15. The
That's
two
cool.
later reunited for a pair of 80s era songs. The number 6 single, Infatuation in 1984.
Infatuation.
You guys gonna serenade me over there? That is so awesome. Look at that. I'm almost speechless over here, really. And People Get Ready. Great stuff there. In 1985, but a planned tour ultimately ended after only a few dates. Beck inducted his former bandmate into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1994.
That's
Stewart
cool.
also made a surprise appearance at a Beck gig in 2009 at the El Rey in Los Angeles, singing People Get Ready and Willie Dixon's I Ain't Superstitious, which originally appeared on Truth. Beck and Stewart attempted a studio reunion before Stewart released 2013's Time, but that fell apart too. So looking forward to that. I wish I could check that out. That's good
a
stuff.
landmark concert, actually. Because
Absolutely.
The only thing they've done was just an occasional appearance with each other, you know, throughout all that time. So to actually see them get up and do a full show together that's a pretty spectacular thing. That's pretty cool. It's like stepping back in time when you see stuff like that. So.
Very cool. I mean, Rock Around the Clock. I mean, my parents' age. I mean, they were digging it. I liked all that style of music back in the day.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I mean, it was cool. I mean, it's definitely rock back then. You could see it taking a life of its own and doing things that hadn't been done before, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, for
Pretty
sure.
cool.
Sure.
So, we mentioned our social media poll this week at Ozzy Osbourne. With that said, Ozzy has postponed all his shows in 2019. I mean,
I'm pretty bummed about that because I actually got tickets for the show here.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have liked to have checked that
A friend
out
of
too.
mine got
Absolutely.
me tickets and stuff. He's like, "Hey, man, I got this ticket. You want to go?" I'm like, yeah."
well, absolutely. I mean, and the thing is, we're going from what was, in our area, concert was June. It's being postponed all the way until May next year. So we're waiting a whole
Talking
year.
A whole year, yeah. It's crazy.
An official statement notes he's recovering from an injury that was sustained while, basically was dealing with pneumonia.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, at his age, I mean, latest setback, he's a 70-year-old singer. He had already postponed pretty much the entire UK and European tour, while he was recovering in the hospital from pneumonia. Also, he's got a hand infection, which pulled him off the road. That was last year, as a matter of fact.
Right. I read that was actually from injuries that he had sustained when he flipped the ATV a while back.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And that's what he kind of like these injuries that he got was from him being off kilter and stumbling and re-injuring the injury from way back then.
Wow.
So.
And most people, they're just, as soon as you hear this, the first thing you think of is pneumonia or something along those lines based on what he had before.
Yeah.
Ozzy said, he goes, I can't believe I have to reschedule more dates. I mean, words cannot express how frustrated and angry and depressed I am, not being, able to tour right now. It's really what's going on. I mean, just know that I'm getting better every day. I will fully recover. I will finish my tour, and I will be back.
Yeah, I mean, was a couple weeks ago we announced that he was doing good, and the American
absolutely.
tour was still going on.
All excited. I'm telling everybody to go check it out because. He's getting older, and I mean, we got a final farewell tour, and then of course there's final farewell tour too. But
final farewell tour too.
I mean, if you guys no, but I mean, if you guys know Ozzy, especially with what's been going on lately, hopefully he just takes care of himself and does what the doctor says, so he can make a comeback. Because heck, if I were 70 years old, I wish I could do all this stuff too.
Yeah.
Most of the North American tour dates have been rescheduled for next year, and with the first starting on May 27th in Atlanta, winding up to be just an unspecified Los Angeles date in July, and that would be at the Hollywood Bowl.
That'd be a cool show to be at.
Oh, absolutely. The UK and European dates were rescheduled within a few weeks. Black Sabbath farewell tour, that was 2017, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was. Okay. Ozzy, he announced that his goodbye tour, even though, like I said, no more tours 2, I should say.
Yeah.
So like I'd say, I mean, I really don't think he's going to come out and say 3. I mean, this has been a rough
Do you think
tour.
it's a gimmick, Scott, when people go, it's the farewell tour, no more tours 2? Do you think that?
Sometimes
you think it's just going to be a continuation?
Sometimes it's a definite gimmick. It's his last tour. I've never seen him. I got to go out and boom, 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 and buy that. You buy all the T-shirts.
I think some of them actually have that intention, especially when you start reaching Ozzy's age, for example. You're 70 years old and you're out there rocking out still. I get that, but at the same time, as a musician, I get you getting done with that tour and going, you know what? I still got another tour in me at least.
Sure.
And I don't want to quit.
What you're saying.
I don't want to quit.
We're getting a couple comments here. Natasha wanted to know if Ozzy was still sick, and then Joe says, I saw him nearly trip over an iPad duct taped to his stage with a set list on Black Sabbath's farewell tour. If it wasn't for the mic stand, he would not have been able to stand up for long.
Wow.
I believe it.
Is that Joe Callio by chance?
Yeah, it sure is. Yeah. And somebody said, it was Joe, is Scott drinking a Tahitian treat?
I'm not going to
Scott,
endorse what
want
I got
the
going on.
Fanta?
He would just like to rib you,
Absolutely, that's a Tahitian treat. It's been rebottled just so nobody knows exactly what it is. I'm not even sure what I'm drinking at this point. I mean, a little paint thinner. I'm not really sure what it is. So everybody else gets to drink something separate, and I got to, that's your water fountain, kid. That's what you get. With that. So with this said, I mean, is this going to be his last tour? If I had to put money on it, I probably would say yes. But then again, you could be. I cannot believe I can go on tour again, number 3.
I'm going to vote no.
Well, Ozzy said, I'm not going on tour for 6 months at a time anymore. I'd like to spend time at home. I just need to slow it down a little bit. For all your fans, I mean, take it as slow as you go. But, we still would like to see it, whether if you're going to do 3-month stints or whatever you're going to do.
He
just do it. I mean,
he said it would mark the end of his extensive touring dates, but not performing So that means he'll still go out and do some shows.
Yeah,
He's
so
just
not
not going to
lengthy
do
tours,
big, long,
right,
lengthy
right.
tours. And I get that
I
even
still
more
would go
with
see
somebody
him.
his age.
You know, if you
Sure.
get a chance to go see him and
Yeah.
never have, I mean, I would probably
Especially
do
if
it
you never
anyways,
have. If you never
know?
have, you got to go see him. I mean, it's kind of you got to push it like the Rolling Stones. You know, Mick Jagger, their show was supposed to start on the 20th down in Miami, and he just canceled that because of heart surgery, major open heart surgery at that. You know, a valve. So he's
probably
recovering
just-
from that. And
Those guys are so hardcore. He's probably smoking a cigarette while they're operating him. You go get that stitched up, mate. You know.
I put a really funny little stint up on my Facebook page. It's got him in a bed. He's got a mic in his hand. He's like, "Start me up."
I saw it. It
Oh
was
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
I
With,
saw
like,
it. It
a
was
heart,
good.
heart
Yeah.
monitor next to him and stuff. Yeah.
That was pretty funny. So this week in history, in 1956, Paramount Pictures signed Elvis Presley to a 3-picture movie deal just 5 days after his first screen test. Thank you very much. The deal paid him $10,000 for Love Me Tender, and $50,000 for Loving You, and $2,000 for Jailhouse Rock.
200,000.
200,000. You're right. I don't know why I said
2,000 would be like
2,000.
if I did it.
Yeah,
It
Dirt.
was actually 100,000 for the first one.
Oh, was it?
150, yeah. And
Well,
then
see, it came across as 10 grand.
my bad.
Yeah, that's your bad. That was in 1956, 1957, and another one was 1957 as well. Presley made 31 films during his career.
Have you
And
watched any of
apparently he banked. Yes, actually, I've watched,
watched
I
Blue
believe,
Hawaii,
pretty much every
My
Every
mom
one of
made
them
me
was-
watch them all.
Yeah.
Girl Happy was the one.
I've watched
that-
them all.
Blue Hawaii was
Oh,
awesome.
my
Yeah,
mom was
from what
a
I can
huge
remember.
Elvis
Mine
fan.
too.
Yeah,
So my mom
that was my
was
mom's first concert, as a matter of
Yeah,
fact.
my mom saw him in
pretty
concert
cool.
too. In fact, I used to have an Elvis Presley pendant from his concert and stuff that my mom had got me from the show. It got damaged in moving over the years, unfortunately.
Do you know when he was filming Flaming Star, my Aunt Carlene, he actually kissed her on the cheek. It was in the local paper, but she's gone now.
So
but
did she faint?
Probably.
'Cause I-
I think most women would have.
back in the day, I mean,
Absolutely.
you got some
I would have
fainters,
fainted
you
if
got
that
some
was me,
cryers.
sure.
Elvis. April 7th, 1958, Little Richard's recording of Long Tall Sally enters the U.S. pop chart. It climbed to number 6. The record also topped the R&B chart and became the first of his 3 top U.S. hits. Also on April 7th, 1985, Wham! Became the first Western pop rock group to tour China. The documentary Western Skies is about their 10-day visit to China in this history-making tour. April 8th, 1994, an electrician that was hired to install a security system at Kurt Cobain's home discovers the body of the 27-year-old Nirvana frontman lying on the floor of a room above the garage with a shotgun on his chest and a suicide note nearby. And on April 10th, 1925, The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, you know, the movie that had Leonardo DiCaprio in it, that was first published in New York City by Scribner Publishing.
It's an amazing book, actually. I've read that book. See, you guys probably didn't know that I read stuff like that. Look at that.
Yeah. She's literate.
I was going to read it, but it didn't have any pictures in the book.
You can just buy the Cliff Notes. You guys remember those things? Did you use those in high
yeah.
school, the Cliff
Yeah, I
Notes?
just want to know who Cliff is.
Yeah,
That
who's
is a-
writing all these notes for him?
That is a very good point. That is a very good point. So I'm going to tell you about the famous birthdays this week. On April 7th, Academy Award-winning actor Russell Crowe, best known for his portrayal of Maximus in the 2000 hit movie Gladiator, turns 55.
And you're happy about that.
Oh my gosh. Well, I got to tell you, he was my crush for Gladiator. My dog's name is Maximus.
Oh, cool. Cool.
So I had to put that in
That
there.
was a cool movie. I like
Oh my
that,
gosh,
yeah.
it was an amazing movie, and it just. But you know, he actually has a band. Did you guys know that?
No.
30 Odd
Yes, he
Foot
does.
of Grunts.
Yep.
Really?
And I have their albums, and pretty stoked about that.
You played Janice Landing before.
Where was I? When was
where were
that?
you?
Now I'm just mad. Now I'm just gonna be mad all night because I missed that.
Unfortunately, I missed it too. so.
Did you say,
I did see Keanu Reeves play there, though.
How was that?
That was actually pretty good.
Was
I
it
was
good?
actually pretty impressed.
I'd like to see Gary Sinise's band too. I really like him, and he does a lot of stuff for veterans. So I've heard his stuff's pretty good too, but I haven't had a chance to check that out. But here's another good birthday. Also on April 7th, musician John Oates from the power rock duo Hall & Oates turns 71. You guys feel old now?
Well, considering, here's.
I'm
when
not
I
turning
was-
71, so I don't feel that old.
Good point. Good
Do I
point.
want to say
Me
what
either,
grade
but-
I was in? But let's let's just say, I mean, what was going on back then? You know, Blondie. I was listening. Well, one of the things I listened to. I mean, Hall and Oates, Blondie. I mean, I was always into rock and roll too. But yeah, Hall and Oates.
Hall and Oates.
They were good, actually.
They
I
were
liked them.
amazing.
You know, they did some great stuff.
They had some great tunes. And
Yeah.
my first love, we loved Hall and Oates. We listened, Hall and Oates and Prince, actually, were
Right.
the two ones we listened to all the
And
time.
they were on MTV. You know, Hall and
Yeah.
Oates.
Prince
They
is the
were
best
right there.
concert I've ever seen.
Was it? You know,
Yeah.
I know they did some special VIP show for people at Ruth Eggert Hall, people that had donated. I wish I could have seen that. It was like, just
Yeah,
a
that would have
one-off,
been
you know?
awesome.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. Here's a big one for us. Iconic jazz and blues singer Billie Holiday was born on April 8th, 1915. Born Eleanora Fagan into poverty to a teenage mother. Little in her early rough start would have given any indication of the musical legacy she would leave behind. She worked as a child, dropped out of school in the 5th grade, spent time in a reformatory, and was arrested for prostitution at age 15.
Jeez.
Holiday went to Harlem to try to break into the entertainment industry as a dancer and better her life, but it wasn't her dancing that enchanted the audience. It was her amazing vocal talent. Discovered by one of the first men to racially integrate the American music industry, producer John Hammond, in 1933 at a jazz club in Harlem. He would sign her to a record contract. Holiday would go on to record hundreds of songs in the 30s. That's amazing, isn't
Yeah,
it?
absolutely.
It really is.
It really is, yeah.
I mean,
That's a heck of a feat, man. Just
To go from that kind of a background, even though we'll talk about her death in a minute, but to go from that kind of a background to achieve, I mean, she's legendary status.
Yeah,
It's an
yeah,
incredible
absolutely.
thing, you know? So,
hey, just being in the right place at the right time. John Hammond, from what I gathered, and he found a lot of big names, some really big ones in the industry. So
that's cool.
so special thanks to him for bringing us such great music. I'm actually a big fan of hers. I think she was just incredible.
yeah, she was awesome.
Sadly, Holiday passed away July 17th, 1959 at age 44 from complications of drug and alcohol addiction. Diana Ross would portray the legendary singer in the movie Lady Sings the Blues in 1972. The success of the movie would create a new legion of fans and inspire record companies to re-release many of her recordings. Holiday's song Strange Fruit, protesting racism in America, would later be named Song of the Century in
cool.
1999 by Time magazine.
That's pretty cool. That's a huge honor.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, that's an incredible thing, especially in that time when that song was released, and that was actually based on a poem. But she, you know, nowadays we do get a lot of musicians that make political statements with their music, but for her to actually do that back in the 30s is way
yeah.
ahead of its time.
Yeah,
Sure is.
way
Sure
ahead
is.
of its time.
So,
Big time.
So that's cool stuff. So April 8th, Steve Howe, English musician, singer, songwriter, and guitarist from the legendary rock group Yes, turned 72. And another notable birthday on April 8th, musician Julian Lennon, son of John Lennon of the Beatles, turns 56.
Wow.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's my son. 56.
And wishing Brian Setzer of
John
the-
Lennon could have been my dad.
Are you saying? Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Is it
Age-wise,
crazy?
you know, not
So-
too far off from Julian.
Brian Setzer of the Stray Cats Strut, a very happy birthday on April 10th. He's going to turn 60. They were a
Very
cool
cool.
group.
Yeah, I love the
I've
Stray
actually
Cats.
seen those guys in, you know, like a local rock bar. As a matter of fact, they Crystal, Minnesota. They played with Trickster. As a matter of fact,
Trickster.
Well, we remember Trickster.
Absolutely.
And I mean, you'd think, okay, Stray Cats and Trickster. That's not going to be a good mix. I was really blown away. I mean, they did great. You know, did great. I mean, they put him up on stage. Remember the Us Festival?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if that was 83 or what it was. I mean, remember, you know, those guys were right up alongside of, you know, all the top names, you know, Judas Priest, you know, Van Halen, Scorpions, all those guys, you know, rocking that huge stand-up bass. I mean, I thought that was... I thought
I always
those
like
guys
the
are
Stray
cool, man.
Cats. I like that cool strut.
It's like putting the 50s in with today's rock and roll, or back then it would have been
well,
the 80s, which,
local musician Jeff Vitolo's got that going on.
yeah.
If you've seen him, if you go out and see him play, he's got that rockabilly sound going, and does a great job at it too, man. So good little plug for you, Jeff.
I dig rockabilly. I think it's cool
do,
stuff.
too.
I always like the Fabulous Thunderbirds.
Yeah, they're
You
good.
guys dig them? They're great
Yeah.
band.
Yeah,
Great
but I
band.
liked his brother better,
You did?
Stevie Ray.
Oh,
Are you kidding me?
my gosh.
Stevie Ray Vaughan?
I thought we were just talking about the Thunderbirds. So I was like, Kim Wilson has a brother.
I was referring to the guitar player.
That's what I was thinking.
Thunderbirds.
Yes, yes. I was on the other. I was on the vocal side. You guys ever notice, because I know you both were musicians and I actually sang, when you look at music, you kind of look at it from your perspective, right? I mean, do you guys find yourself to tend to do that more, where you look at the instrument that you play a
Yes
little
and
bit
no.
more? No?
Yeah, yes and no, but
Yeah.
I do tend to analyze some of that a little bit more because I've sang and I play guitar.
Exactly.
So, yeah. But as I've gotten older, I've come to appreciate all the instruments a lot more. The more I've learned about music, the more I've appreciated music in general.
Sure.
Whether it's rap or country or any of the other stuff, I mean, a good song is a good song.
Absolutely.
You know, and
Very
that's
true.
going to be recognized here.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we get the right guests, the right opportunity. We're going to have them here. Whether we're rock and roll one weekend, it really doesn't make any difference. I don't care if it's jazz or country or who it is. I
Or
mean,
Justin Bieber.
Hey, man, if we can get Justin in here on the couch.
You know why I said that, right,
you know,
Todd? You
yeah, I
know
know, 'cause that's
get
what I
Justin
brought up.
Bieber in here. It's going to be a real
That's
interesting interview, and I guarantee I will make it the worst. I mean, best interview he's ever had. I will ask him questions I probably wouldn't even know how to answer.
See, now the story behind that goes when we were trying to come up with a name for the show, and I was saying let's not pigeonhole ourselves into calling it rock or anything like that, or metal, because then that's all we can interview. Because if you could get an interview with Justin Bieber, would you really turn it down?
Let's see.
No, you wouldn't. But at the beginning of the interview, I'd hand him like a carton of eggs. Go, what's up?
Did I get Scott? What's up?
Let's go out in the parking lot and have some
Hand him
fun.
the carton of eggs, or would you have the carton of eggs sitting here to?
Is that the Tahitian treat making you go, what's
the
up?
Tahitian treat,
What's up?
the Tahitian treat in me says to take that carton of eggs. We got a neighbor next door that some people know.
Now, let's not go there. Let's check out what events are going on and show one of our interviews.
Wanted to go there.
So the weekend of May 3rd through the 5th, the 9th annual edition of Florida's biggest rock experience, because livestock doesn't exist anymore, will be Welcome to Rockville. It returns to Jacksonville's Metropolitan Park for a massive 3-day weekend with over 50 bands. It's going to feature must-see headlining acts from some of the biggest names in rock, including Tool, Korn, Rob Zombie, Incubus, Shinedown, and Judas Priest, along with bands such as Evanescence, Chevelle, Killswitch Engage, Tom Morello, The Cult, Skillet, whom I absolutely love in this moment. I dig them a lot as well. Black Label Society, Papa Roach. Actually, I like all those bands. Just to name a few. General admission and VIP tickets, as well as hotel and camping packages for Welcome to Rockville, on sale now at welcometorockvillefestival.com. Check it out. Be sure to support their sponsors as well. It's going to be an awesome time, and the Sound Effect is hoping to see you there.
I just realized that, I'm out of town. And I might miss the first day of this, unfortunately.
Going to leave me hanging?
No, I'm not going to leave you hanging. I'm letting you know right now that, the week of the 29th,
I'm going to have to take
I'm not
Doug
going to be
with
here.
me, man. That's all there is to it.
Well, you probably have more fun with Doug anyways. Because
she's going to be out of town.
That's right, I sure am. So while you're digging Welcome to Rockville, I'm digging also the weekend of May 3rd through the 5th. Cinco de Mayo weekend. M3 in Columbia, Maryland is cranking it up to 11. New this year, the 11th edition of the Merryweather's internationally renowned 80s Rock Festival is expanding to a third day. It's always been 2 days. This year it's 3, with the festivities beginning with the annual Kicks Off party on Friday, May 3rd, featuring hometown heroes Kicks. Other artists that are not to be missed include Whitesnake, Warrant, Firehouse, Steve Adler of Guns N' Roses, Danger Danger, Kingdom Come, Autograph, Tora Tora, Vince Neil of Motley Crue, Extreme, Skid Row, Quiet Riot, Vince Vixen, Bane, Bang Tango, and more. For more information and to get tickets, visit m3rockfest.com. I'm going to be there. You should be there. And also, if you guys are in town on Thursday, there's going to be an event called M34 at the Fishhead Cantina with Babylon Shakes, Kickin' Valentina, and Every Mother's Nightmare.
Nice.
Yeah,
I opened for Every Mother's Nightmare before.
they're great guys.
Yeah,
I've
they're
been
cool.
everybody's
Very cool.
nightmare.
The most fun I ever had hanging with the band, I have to say, I have to give it to Every Mother's Nightmare. I do.
Most fun
Really?
I ever
That's
had was
cool.
hanging with Jackal. Those guys can
Yeah.
put down some.
I feel bad that I can't remember most of my good times.
Then it
And
was
they-
a
they
really
must
good
have-
time.
No, they were
Those
really
boys
good,
can
as a
drink,
matter of
man. Let me
fact.
tell you.
It's like they say if you can remember the '60s, you never
weren't
lived
there.
them. Yeah, well, you must have done something.
Jackal boys can drink some moonshine. Let me tell you what.
Well, they get
They make
sell,
they make it.
Moonshine.
full throttle.
That's dangerous
Is
stuff.
that
My family's
saloon shine?
They came to the Rocket Club one night, and he walks up there with a bottle. It looked like water. It was one of the bigger ones like this.
The
And he goes, "Hey,
Rocket
can I leave
Club.
this up in the DJ booth with you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, man, but you can get all the water you want from the bartender." And he goes, "Oh, that's not water.
It's not water.
Angie said
He's
like
like-
her birthday.
Feel free to have a drink." You know. And I was like, "Yeah, that's some pretty strong stuff."
That moonshine scares me. My family's from West
dissolved in my
Virginia.
throat
I don't
going
think I
down.
can do it. I don't think I
Oh.
can do it.
That
I
stuff
think
was
I'll
like
stick to
180
Tiche and
proof,
treat. I'm pretty sure I
190
can't do
Oh
it.
man, I just
Unreal.
I get gut rot just thinking about it. I mean, it's like swallowing razor blades or something for me. So I had my computer all charged up, and I mean, this thing was all full and ready to go.
I told him to plug it in, but he
told
didn't
me
listen to me.
You know,
Is that what
maybe I
happened
should've
there?
listened. Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, I just
Scott.
now I'm just going to make up the whole rest of the show. So this year's Louder Than Life Festival is set to take place September 27th through the 29th. And at the event's new home in Louisville's highly festival grounds, it's a stellar lineup. I mean, we're featuring 50 bands. I mean, we're it's similar to Rock Fest. I mean,
Yeah,
this
big
is
time.
this nice lineup. We're talking Stained, Slipknot, Disturbed, Godsmack, Rob Zombie, Guns N' Roses. You got to make sure that they're there. Breaking Benjamin, Chevelle, Hailstorm. I mean, a lot of people. No digs against Guns N' Roses.
I love
You got a
Guns N'
good point, though.
Roses.
But
I
I mean,
love Guns N' Roses.
You know, every single person that I know that's seen Guns N' Roses has had at least one of their concerts either start late or quit late or
Been there.
get mad. I mean, I've
First
seen
time
people
I saw
get kicked
Guns
out
N'
for taking
Roses.
pictures.
They come out on stage, 3 songs into it, Axl spinning the microphone, pops himself in the lip, drops the mic, walks off stage, show was over.
See, that's stupid.
three
It's
songs into the
self-inflicted.
Really?
Not kidding.
You know, the difference is nowadays is, you know, somebody's like, hey, man, I got a Big Mac over there if you want it. Show's over. We're out of here. So, you know, we got a couple of decent concerts to check out around here, and I mean, these guys could be playing in your area too. I mean, we got DMX, you know, Kiss. Speaking of farewell tours, Kiss, Night Ranger, Richard Marx.
And not the one that we know either.
No.
We won't
is
talk
the-
about
I got
that
one
right
locked.
now.
Marks.
I got one locked and loaded, but we're not ready to go. So, Dennis DeYoung, Kenny Chesney, Buck Cherry, Hatebreed, Santana. I mean, you know, a lot of big names coming.
Going to
You-
Buck Cherry. That's Saturday night? Yeah.
Is it
What's that?
Saturday?
This Saturday night?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can't
Down
think
at
that far ahead.
Ferg's in St. Pete.
Oh, that's right.
should be a good
That
time.
is right.
Also that night, I mean, I'd rather go to this. Is 2 cellos at the
Are there
Emily
two
Arena.
girls?
No, these 2 guys that play cello and they play rock stuff on cello, and they kill it, man.
I've
They
seen-
are spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a couple girls doing similar thing. I mean, it might have been though too. Did they do like
There is a couple of twin girls who play
Master of
the big
Puppets
harps,
and-
and they play Master of Puppets
okay?
and stuff like
I'm
that. and Iron
thinking of
Maiden.
them too. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
they
cool.
rock
It
They're
really
killers.
actually is cool.
Yeah, I always thought 2 cellos and those 2 twins would be freaking really cool together.
Absolutely.
Somebody was having me listen to that Metal Disney. Have you guys even checked that out? It's
No.
like the
No.
Disney music put like metal. Doug's shaking his head. Doug has checked that out. It's crazy, right? It's actually quite good. You know, so they take the Disney songs and they make them metal.
Now, actually, I
Really?
have seen a video by a band out of New York that the singer on that is a singer from Broadway. He's spectacular.
Oh, yeah.
And he does a metal version of the song from Frozen.
The Let It Go, I've seen it. It is amazing.
He is killer.
You know, I was
and
right-
the guitar player is just
I saw
ripping,
the
man.
video for that. It's
Yeah.
incredible. And my friend Laura was like, "Put this on," and we were in the car.
Yeah.
You know, because I had the YouTube thing hooked up, and I
Right.
was like, she's wanting me to listen to a song from Frozen.
Yeah.
What is that?
They
But
rocked
it
though.
rocks.
They did
No,
a
it
killer
rocks.
job.
It's great.
Yeah,
It's really
yeah.
great.
Oh, he's got amazing voice.
Yeah,
man.
it's good.
That dude is awesome.
So I mean, we have some events coming on this weekend. Boy, they're real similar, and for some of you diehards, you could kid them both. You know, in Orlando and in Tampa. In Orlando, we have Earth Day Birthday, Godsmack, 3 Days Grace, Pop Evil. Atreyu.
My son digs
I
that
knew how to
band.
Now, I
pronounce
gotta
it. just
say
wanted to
though,
double check.
it's not officially an Earth Day birthday because it's not on Earth Day this year.
Oh.
And there's a reason I know that
Why is that?
because
know
that
that?
is when my birthday is.
Oh my goodness! Look at that.
Earth Day is my birthday, and JRR normally does it on the 22nd, but Easter being the 21st, I got a feeling that's why they did it a week before.
So
Right.
Earth Day,
That makes sense.
my birthday falls on Memorial Day sometimes. Yeah.
Mine's always on Earth Day.
And I never can get off work.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't
feel
done
sorry
anything
for me now, guys?
No, I haven't done
Maybe that's
anything
why I'm-
special.
I'm
You
a
said
little
no,
bit grounded
Scott. You're
side.
supposed to say yes.
Okay, I
Thanks
feel
for that, Scott, right?
extremely. I mean, you're neglected. I mean,
I know
you
it's sad. It's really sad.
I always take care of the wife, the kids. I mean, there's usually nothing left for my birthday.
I haven't
you
seen
know?
your wife yet here. I'm waiting for her to come on. I'm
Oh,
feeling
I feel
sad.
really bad. And I mean, it's not like I make a big deal about my birthday, and I don't want everybody to know June 18th that, if you guys need anywhere to send money to or whatever, we'll figure that out later. PayPal. But so what's cool is, yeah, you have that going on in Orlando, but then we have in Tampa, we got 98 Rock Fest, which is what took place. We used to have
Formerly
this place.
Livestock.
Yeah, Livestock is what we used to have down here, which is cool. I got lucky to play there on a Sunday. Hey, it was Sunday. It was still fun though. Again, we're looking at a similar lineup. I mean, we got Godsmack, 3 Days Grace.
Very similar because both those bands are playing Earth Day Birthday and
Yeah,
98
yeah.
Rock Fest. So.
POD, Motionless in White, Rival Sons, and the Bluestones. I mean, again, that's going to be a
Isn't
good concert.
Shinedown playing again this year?
You know what? For some reason, I'm not sure
For
if
some
they
reason,
are.
I thought they were. Could be wrong.
Could be wrong. The 25th anniversary of the Tampa Bay's Blues Fest at Vinoy Park in St. Pete with headliners Tab Benoit, I'm sorry, Boy Skaggs.
I think it's Benoit, isn't it? Tad Benoit.
Could be.
I've actually met him.
It sounds better when you say it that
Benoit.
way.
Thank you. I've
Is it
actually met
Benoit?
him, but he was pretty drunk, so I think he said Benoit.
I should call my
He
friend
could've just
Danica.
ordered
That's a
beef.
sounds like a French name to me, and she would know since she's
I think it's Benoit.
Francais.
He's a great musician, though. Have you guys seen it?
No, honestly, I haven't.
He's
No,
really great.
I haven't. I mean, Boz Skaggs and
Boz-
Johnny
Speaking
Lang.
of great musicians.
Boz Skaggs. Johnny Lang
Todd's
is what
a
you're
huge
talking about,
fan right here.
I'm going down there Friday
Kicking
night.
off on Friday night. That's
I'm riding a motorcycle down there, and I'm just going to hang out outside the fence and listen to Johnny.
Now, I believe I'm going
That's a
from
great-
memory,
it's a
so
great
this
time.
could be wrong, but I believe 98 Rock Fest is on a Sunday this
It
year.
is,
Which, if you guys have been to any of our festivals down here, you know that everybody's probably taking off of work the next day. I mean,
Yeah,
if
probably.
not, your employer's going to be like, why am I getting a quarter of the productivity right now? Oh, they were at 98 Rock Fest. That's why.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, my
they'll
God.
have it.
That just totally reminded me of something. So when I was a supervisor at a retail thing, this kid, he was supposed to come into work and he didn't like come in. I'm waiting. A couple hours go by. I finally call him to his house. I can't even remember his name now because it was so. I was like, "Hey, do you plan on coming into work today?" He's like, "Oh yeah." I was gonna call in because I got to go to that Rock Fest thing, and
Oh, man.
I forgot to call earlier. And I'm like, dude, could you at least have the decency to lie to me?
Yeah, try to
Tell me you're
lie.
throwing up or something. Tell
I'm
me you got the
playing sick
runs
right now,
Just
okay?
say something.
Yeah, right?
I mean, we've all wanted to call in sick for a rock concert, but just can you lie? I mean, say something good. That just reminded me of that.
Gotta give him some credit for being straight up, though.
He's
I mean,
like,
come on.
oh yeah. I'm
No,
like,
no problem. I
"Oh,
appreciate
man."
your honesty, but you can grab your check on Monday.
Yes.
That's always how
That's
it
too
worked for
funny.
me. I'm an honest
Speaking
guy.
of rock concerts, over the weekend we caught up with the band Crush Tone, and they crushed it.
They did.
We talked to them about what's going on with the band. Who else played that? Stone Gray.
Stone Gray.
They were excellent. We will have them sometime here in the studio when those
Absolutely.
guys finally decide they'll be in here. But Crush Tone was great, man. It was a really great lineup, a really great show, and a lot of fun. We had a good time. All of us were there. And
Place was packed, too.
Yeah, oh
And
my
it
gosh.
really was.
slam packed,
It was packed.
man. It was a really good
I was
show.
trying to get some live video. It was like standing room. Oh, I mean, it was everyone.
And
Everyone was
they,
into it.
they didn't just go there to see us. I mean, these guys are really good bands.
They didn't? Wait a minute. They didn't?
What?
What? What are you talking about?
Okay, other than them going there to see Michelle, Crush Stone crushed it. Stone Gray crushed it. I mean, it was a good night. It was a
great night. Great lineup and a lot of fun. Had a good time there. If you missed it, look, if Crush Tone comes to your area and you get a chance to see him, you must go check them out. Those guys are really, really good.
I should have worn my Crush Tone shirt tonight. That would have been very
Yeah,
fitting.
that would have been a good
I know
thing
why.
to do.
I should have done that.
Okay, guys, we'll be right back. No, we won't.
I was like, what is he doing?
Actually,
What is he doing?
He's kind of right, though, because we got an interview with them, and here is that interview along with the video for their song Prophecy, and we will be
This
right
is pretty
back.
cool.
We will be.
And Prophecy is from Thomas Crane.
Yeah,
Overrated.
it's shot by Thomas Crane.
Yeah.
Thomas Crane.
Yeah, unfortunately, that part was completely missed in the video, in the interview. The audio cut out for that entire section.
But we can tell you, I mean,
But
Thomas
that's
Crane,
okay.
if you've been watching the show, I mean, he's
Major props,
he's
brother.
one of our guys. If somebody were to call us up and say, who can do a video, he's your man.
Oh yeah, by far. Yeah,
Thomas
Wait till you see
Crane,
the quality,
Kill Devil
you'll see it.
Films.
He kills it.
Yeah, he's great. He also did a full-length film as well. You
Yeah.
know, so he's got a lot of
Yeah,
great
very
stuff
recently.
going on.
Yeah,
So congrats.
we're trying to get him back in here
Thomas
in the
for
show,
that.
so sometime soon here. So check it out. Here's Crush Tone and Prophecy afterwards, after the interview. We're on the road with the sound effects, and we are here with Crush Tone at Mr. Joe's Off the Beach in, well, kind of St. Pete Beach area, very close to it anyways, close to Mad Beach as we like to call it. Welcome, guys. Great to see you in town.
Thanks for having us. Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm going to pass the mic around, let you guys introduce yourselves and what you do in the band, all right?
Jay Diesel, drums.
Joshua Popkins, vocals. Brad, play guitar.
Michael Bach, bass and some backing vocals.
Joey Torres, guitar.
So, Joey, man, you are, from what I understand, the originator of the band. Am I correct in that?
Between me and Jay, we started the band about 5 years ago. We started off as a cover band, and that's kind of how the band got started. And we've had some member changes over the years. Jay and I are the last two remaining from the original crew from like 5 years ago. And, we've just had some member changes over the years, and band's kind of gone in a different direction from the original idea of just, going out, playing covers and having fun or whatever. So, now you have the current lineup, of guys that are on the same page as far as where we're going with the band, what direction, stylistically, everything. So it took a little while to get to where we're at now, as far as finding the right members and getting everything to click.
Yeah, for sure. So, Jay, man, how did these guys come around into the band, brother?
Well, once we kind of took some time off, I think it was probably about 6 or 8 months where Joey and I were just kind of sitting back and, talking to some different guys locally in different bands and seeing if there was any interest in stuff. And then we got introduced to Joshua through our good buddy J-Rock from State Theater and locally. So we got involved with him and met with him, did a little audition with him at Joey's place, and loved him immediately and what he brought to the table and his writing and his singing, and another guitar player. So it's pretty amazing. I mean, we got 3 guitar players now in our band, which is incredible. And then our buddy Michael kind of fell out of the sky for us when we were looking for a bass player. He used to play with Joey with the Soul Circus Boys for a little while, and then he had to leave for some family reasons and came back to town, called Joey, says, "Hey man, I'm looking for a band. You got any ideas? You got any leads?" And Joey's like, "Yeah, I think so. We're looking for somebody." So we met with Michael, and Joey sent him the music, and he can tell you the rest. But he loved it, and we got blessed with him.
It's like
and
it was meant to be.
The
It was just
audition,
meant to be.
the new edition kid here, Brad Balsam.
They told me no way, but I just kept showing up.
Hey, sometimes that's what it takes, man.
Like the stalker just comes out of the bushes, and he's just around, and he just kept showing up. So you're like, all right, man, you're in.
Go with it. I like that. Might as well grab a guitar while you're here.
Yeah, man, so
You tell him he's not getting paid for anything yet?
he was surprised. I actually just gave him some money. I'm like, that's your allowance.
Never happened before.
So we're very blessed, man. This is we can't be more happier with the direction that the band's gone in. Dropping the debut album a couple of months ago, and everything these guys put into it, and the passion and the hard work. And I mean, the chemistry is just great. The energy's great. The atmosphere is great. It's just like a breath of fresh air. So I mean, the band couldn't be any stronger from where we're at right now.
That's awesome, man. So all of you guys were part of the writing?
Yeah, well, I mean, some of the songs were written, before us three kind of came on.
Right.
We mentioned that in an interview previous, just saying that like there were 3 songs that were just pretty much done, and the guys gave me some freedom to just kind of add some stylistic things to it. And then there was one we did the bridge on, but the rest of them we kind of had to rewrite all the vocals. And then we had an incredible instrumental get thrown in the mix at the very end that Joey just did an incredible job on. So that's part of it.
Nice. That wouldn't happen to be the song for Sidra, is it?
No, the Sidra song I actually wrote, really quick, but the album was already done when that happened. It was just we were at the very tail end of finishing all the songs. Like Joshua said, when Joshua came in, our previous singer had a lot of the record already done. So when he came in, we just kind of was like, okay, well, this is what we got done. What do you want to keep? What do you want to change? And we just gave him carte blanche to just edit, delete, paste, whatever.
You didn't have to keep the parts that were there already?
We left it up to him. Okay, cool. So if you like the message, the lyrics, and the melody, just make it your own and go with it. And after, I think we had like 6 songs that CJ had already recorded, and out of the 3 of them, he kept 3, and then the other 3 he basically molded his own style into it. And then we got to the end of the CD, and Jay was like, "Man, I want one more song." And I was like, well, I'm in Knoxville, where it's going to take a while to put something together long distance. Like, how about I throw you an instrumental I already have recorded at home? So I shot it to the guys, and everybody was like, yeah, man, that's awesome. So we, at the last minute.
Flamethrower. And now, and
That the name of it?
Yeah,
Brad
we'll be
is
playing
now
that tonight.
on that one too. And
Yes.
that's
I
got
had no
some
choice.
incredible guitar work.
See what persistence can do for you, man?
Oh yeah, but I mean, with a lot of bands today, it's not quite as much about talent as it used to be. You'd have like Metallica, you would have 2 guitarists that were absolutely amazing, complementing each other, doing harmonic melodies and stuff together, and that's what they do on that song. And I mean, it truly is an incredible song. So, but we're doing that on a bunch of different songs. We're actually throwing out a Metallica cover tonight, and it's got some of that in it. So we're
got some balls.
We're excited. We're excited.
2 of them.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So I got a couple questions for you guys. So I'm just wondering, I mean, you were talking about how you started out as a cover band, and now you've got this great new album that's just come out, and you've got all this original stuff. And the inception of the band, did you guys ever foresee it coming to this? Because you're pretty much a staple in the Bay Area now. So
I would say that when we first started, we had no idea we were going to do originals. It wasn't even on the radar at the time. It was just, we all wanted to just do something musically. I think some of us were in other bands that we weren't real happy with at the time. And I was like, I just want to go out there, and I don't want to play the same covers that every other band is playing. So when we originally got together, it was like, we're just going to strictly pick stuff that nobody else is playing, off the wall stuff. We don't care if anybody likes it or not. We were kind of being selfish about, we just want to play what we want to play. So we were picking just really odd stuff, off the wall stuff. And yeah, and
It set us apart from everybody else because we're playing stuff that nobody else did.
Right.
And not to mention, I mean, we still had a good group then. And the draw was incredible. Again, when we first started playing, the crowd, we're 200 plus people our first, 5-6 shows that we were playing, and the places were just packed. But
Yeah, I've seen you guys many times, and you always packed it out, and always did a great job with, like you said, just doing stuff that nobody else was playing, which was very refreshing in my opinion.
yeah, I mean, with the way that Joey plays guitar, I mean, he's really grown into himself, and he's kind of spread his wings, so to speak, and he's now with Dean and Dorsey along with Brad with Dean Guitars.
Nice.
What's kind of the emblem of the wing, so it's symbolic, really. And I'm endorsed with 5
I like to play
companies.
Dean. I don't know if I call myself an endorsee, but I like to think that.
Okay, well,
It's coming.
didn't you just get a new guitar from
Oh
Dean
yeah,
yesterday?
I did.
Big old hookup.
What a plug that is.
Yeah.
I think he's a
I think y'all just
comedian
made
in the
that
band. I'm pretty sure. Are you the comic relief over there? I think. I'm pretty sure that you are.
Look at that baby face.
So I'm seeing that. I'm seeing he looks innocent, but I'm not really sure if I'm buying that over here. So I got a question for you guys after that. So you guys, like I said, you've made quite a name for yourself. If I say the name of your band, people know it over here. Some of them you go in there like, who's that? But you guys are a very recognizable name. Do you see on taking this out on the road to support that album later on in the year? Any other places you plan out? Global domination? I mean, what,
Well, we actually just got picked up by friends of ours in M7 booking agency, Evan Michaels and Jimmy. So they just brought us into the family about a month or so ago. They're bringing us on the road here shortly in May. It's going to be our first little weekend getaway. They're sending us tons and tons of buy-ons, but we're not really financially ready for that, but we will be. So obviously, we're just looking at the big picture. We of course, we want to start here locally and in Florida. Get out, build the brand, build the fan base, get the record out there, get the music out there, get the swag out there. But we need your support, because without your support, we don't get to do what we do. And I mean, that goes for every big band that we're fans of. They all started out at the same place. So without them and you guys supporting us, we need your help to obviously get out and do what we want to do. And that's getting on tour and playing. We've been on the national scene for a few years and playing with a lot of national bands, but we want to get out with the nice, bigger shows and bigger events and festivals and stuff like that.
It was mentioned that obviously you're a staple around the area. As far as Crush Tone goes, how'd you guys come up with a name?
Well,
Anything special there?
Yeah, well, when we first got together, we put out a contest on Facebook.
Okay.
And so we left it up to the public to pick out the name. And so we gathered a bunch of, merch, memorabilia, prizes, stuff like that. And, we told everybody to submit their name. And then we had a list, this long of names. And, we rounded it down to the top 10, then to the top 5, and then the top 3 could get a prize or something like that. And so the name that we picked, was somebody put Crush Tone on the list.
That was the only one she put in where, everybody kind of put a bunch of different names and being stupid and stuff, But, yeah, that was the only submission she had.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you.
Right.
It's actually a very cool way of getting your name and stuff like that, and it's very cool of you guys to do
We
that.
can't take credit for the name. Let's just put it that way.
It's actually a cool name, though. It really is.
At least we didn't go in like the Rock Band Generator online or something like that.
So what are some of your biggest plans in the next few months? I mean, you live elsewhere, so I mean, what are the big plans you got coming up?
Well, like they mentioned, we're working with M7, and we're getting a lot of opportunities and a lot of stuff thrown our way. And the biggest obstacle at this point is just trying to figure out what we can, what we can't do, schedule-wise. I mean, we all, we still have all jobs, so we have to work around that, family schedules and stuff like that. Big thing is the finances,
Oh, absolutely.
in order to be able to pull off some of those opportunities. But the goal, the light at the end of the tunnel is to get us outside of Florida
Right.
into a whole different market, new fans, just kind of get on the road, do some select shows, around the state, kind of branch up into Georgia, branch up into Tennessee, wherever, So it's baby steps. So you have to go from your home and you got to move to the next level, and then from there to the next county, and from there to the next one, and then just kind of keep moving, in one direction, and just try to expand the fan base.
Absolutely. Now, you guys have your own music video. You have your own music video that you did with Thomas Crane. Figured you'd like to be in something, you know.
Scott, the question is, do we want that?
Oh, no. You did tell him he's not getting any royalties off this album. No, seriously. I mean, you guys, you need to push Prophecy right now. You really do. You know, it's a good song, good video. But with that said, do you have plans to make another one soon?
Yes. We're gonna do another one. We haven't decided when or where.
You don't have to let him in it though.
Well, I'm gonna hold the lights for Thomas.
So there you have it. Crush Tone.
Look at
Was
that.
our interview with the guys.
Yep.
Do that again, Todd.
Crush Tone. Some tone. Yeah, good guys, man. I've known Joey for a long time, and Jay. Of course, you've known him better than probably anybody else in the band, right?
Yep.
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 All right, Jay's my brother-in-law,
Yep.
What can you say?
and he was
So-
just as cool before I was his brother-in-law.
That's a good
A little
thing.
cooler now, but I mean, it's cool.
Yeah, and I've known
Jay's a good guy.
Joey's wife, Tracy, for 26 years, something
Wow.
like that. So we've been great friends for a long, long time. So, but they're good guys and good band, really solid. Man, they were really solid live. I was rather impressed. So, and I've seen them
I was
before.
impressed. I
so.
thought they were great. Yeah, I thought they were really, really good. I'm looking forward to, and I'm going to mention this since I'm relatively new on here. I'm looking forward. I'm probably going to have them come on one of my shows. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Michelle Bench-Novak. I have a show on Rock Rage Radio. Let me do it the radio way. Rock Rage Radio, Shaking the Rafters with Michelle. It's on Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. It's an interview show. Have a lot of great rock bands on there, and that's actually how I met these fine gentlemen. We were both covering the same festival. So having a great time here on The Sound Effect with Scott and
Absolutely.
Todd. So check out my show on Rock Rage Radio, rockrageradio.com.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
guys. That was my shameless plug for myself. Thank you. Thank you.
So Crush Tone, check them out whenever you get a chance. You want to see them live, and you're going to enjoy that. We got a couple more videos from them. Actually, it's just music, and I just kind of put some pictures to it so we could play it for you so you could hear a couple more of their songs. That's coming up in a little bit here near the end of the show. But before that, let's find out what happened with the show poll.
So, in the wake of Ozzy canceling his tour, the poll this week, which post Randy Rhoads album is better? Or Bark at the Moon or No Rest for the Wicked? So let's see what you guys had to say. I mean, me personally, I mean, I like both. I like both.
I like them both, too.
What's your vote, Todd?
I'm not telling.
Well,
I'm telling mine.
I'm telling mine last. Just because.
I went with
holding
Bark at
out
the
on
Moon.
us.
I went with Bark at the Moon.
Oh.
I mean, I just just a well-rounded album. Not saying the other one was. I mean, you're talking like comparing two awesome things next to one another. Different guitar players and whatnot. But for me, yeah, it definitely was Bark at the Moon.
You just liked Ozzy dressed up as a werewolf.
Okay, besides that,
I picked Bark at the Moon too because of Jakey Lee. I did. I admit it. I like Zach Wilde, but I dig Jakey Lee. I picked that because
they're completely. I mean, I'm sorry. There are
they're
different.
They are
guitars.
completely different
Absolutely,
styles and
absolutely.
everything. And
If you watch them do a solo, I mean, okay. I would say, Jakey Lee's more into, the speed picking and this and that, where you have, Zach Wilde, he's
not
into
these
speed
days,
pick-
if you see Zach.
Yeah, well, Zach Wilde, I mean, he's harmonic, speed picking. I mean, he's just, in a real nice bluesy crispiness to his
Scott, I'm
his
enjoying.
playing,
I'm enjoying this that you
Yeah,
just did with it.
absolutely,
It kind of like
absolutely.
emphasizes it. It was like,
But I'm still gonna have to say though, as far as both albums, I still like Bark of the Moon better.
I agree.
Well,
I agree. I concur.
I would say Bark at the Moon probably has the more recognizable songs, like Bark at the Moon, for example.
Let's say we just get rid of that song.
Definitely a hit and an Ozzy staple, if
Yep.
you would say that. I mean, no question about that. But personally, I like No Rest for the Wicked better. I mean, it was Zach Wilde appearing on the scene, and Zach's just a monster guitar player. Out of the two overall, as a full album, I love them both. They're both fantastic
Right.
albums, and Jake's a killer guitar player.
You've seen Jake 3 feet in front of you.
Yeah.
I've
Like
seen him with
this last year or whatever. I remember you posting pictures or whatever where he came out.
Did you see Red Dragon Cartel? Is that who you saw him with?
No, I
'Cause
have not,
saw him with
actually.
them.
I've
It
been
was
wanting
great.
to see that.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. He's had a couple different singers since like different shows that I've seen, but he still is phenomenal. He's absolutely incredible.
And I love everything that he's done. You know, I mean, one of the first Ozzy albums that I really ever got into was Ultimate Sin. You know, a couple of people even mentioned that, in their opinion, was the best album. You know,
Yeah.
my friend Leanne said that, and I was like, well, that wasn't what I asked you, Leanne. But that's not a bad thing. You know, I love the Ultimate Sin album. Actually, I like that one better than Bark at the Moon. And I saw that tour and everything as well. You know, it was a great tour.
I will.
But I got to say that, you know, Zach coming on the scene, to me, the epitome Ozzy stuff was the stuff with Randy Rhoads, and most people would probably say that as well. But the closest that Ozzy ever got, guitar-wise, to Randy Rhoads would have to be Zach.
No,
And
I'll agree with that.
That
for
is
sure.
the
I'll
reason
agree with
why
that for sure.
I think the No Rest for the Wicked was such a standout album. It just really, the whole album entirely was just a you know, not to say that Bark at the Moon's not a solid album, but I think No Rest for the Wicked was just more solid overall.
That was the album where they had that song. What was it, Mr. Miracle? That did the dig at Jimmy Swaggart.
Okay.
Because Jimmy Swaggart was always putting down Ozzy for being, you know, satanic and sinful, and that was when he got arrested in that little. There was that big scandal, right?
Right.
So that was kind of Ozzy's dig at him. Was that Mr. Miracle song on that No Rest for the Wicked? Miracle Man.
Miracle
That's a
Man.
song.
Thanks, Doug.
This is why we have Doug. This is
exactly
why we
why I
have
have
Doug
Doug.
to
You give
correct
Doug a
us and
mic.
stuff. So
Down
Miracle
camera
Man.
now.
It's coming.
That's right. That's the name of the song, Miracle Man. So that's kind of
Yeah.
interesting, right, about that album.
Absolutely.
But you know,
absolutely.
the cool thing about that is, I don't know if you guys remember this, because when I saw Ozzy live, that was after Randy Rhoads had passed away, but it wasn't Jakey Lee. It was Brad Gillis,
Gillis.
from Night Ranger
Oh, really?
that
Yeah, I
filled in
completely
that
forgot
interim year.
about that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So how
Yeah.
long did he? I wonder how long he filled in for.
I
'cause
can't remember the length of time, but I know Brad, and you know, even if you go
He
see
did the
Night-
one tour.
Yeah, if you go see Night Ranger, he plays a little bit of Ozzy
Yeah.
in one part, just because they go. I don't know if you guys remember, but Brad filled in after Randy Rhoads passed away.
Right, right.
Yeah, he did. And I mean,
I
what
opened up for Night Ranger. I just, unfortunately, I don't remember it.
I love Night
I'm not
Ranger.
really sure why, but
I
Oh
do
my
too.
god, I
Night
love them.
Ranger
You
is
don't
great.
know their songs?
no, I'm saying I opened up for Night Ranger,
You-
and I don't
what?
remember the experience because I don't know
what
what
were
happened.
you doing, Scott?
I was probably drinking a little bit. I mean, I don't know.
Tahitian treat or something?
Oh, at least a Tahitian treat. I mean, who knows?
How can you not
that's a
remember
long.
that? I love Night Ranger. I think they're a great band. They're
You
even
know,
fun
Brad
live
Gillis.
now.
I mean, he was back when Guitar Player magazine had a tear out plastic record, that you
Oh my
can play.
god,
I remember
forgot
that.
about
Yeah,
that.
It's
Oh
got
my
all
god.
the sound effects and
Yeah.
stuff. I mean,
Right,
this
right.
is before Steve Vai, and he's got all these cool sound
What
effects.
did you say? The sound effects?
The sound effects.
But theirs is spelled different,
I know.
so therefore not as cool. David, David's saying that Bark of the Moon was much more commercial sounding, including their video. I'd agree with you there.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
James, anything with Jake is badass, but No Rest is, the next level badassery, correct words. Yeah, man.
Badassery.
I agree all the way. I mean, of course, we got a couple people voting for albums that weren't listed, which, Ultimate Sin, I mean, of course we understand. But, these two were a battle.
My man Travis said No Rest all day. And I
Look,
have to agree with you,
Todd's
Trav.
gloating over there. He's like, no rest all day. Look at
Well,
that.
that's what he put.
I know.
He's got like 10 L's there
I had to just
and
do
like
it. I had
6
to,
Y's. So
Chad, I
it's
had to do it.
all day.
Look at that. See, he's reiterating. You should have done that when you did that. That seemed
I
fitting for
never
that.
do that. I do that or that.
All right. That's what I do. That's awesome.
I do
Oh,
this.
this is the
I
one?
do the
and
thumb.
this.
Okay, let me see.
and
This
one.
this is actually I love you in sign
I
language.
love that. I actually love that.
And this is just hang loose, brother.
Hang Loose.
Oh, see, I
directly
I've
from
never done that
Mahalo.
one.
from
No, it's the thumb. You got to put the
Hawaii.
thumb out there too. It's the
I'm
Hawaii.
getting schooled
This
over
is
here,
the sur-
folks. I'm getting
This
schooled.
is the
Look at that.
surfer thing here. You know,
I've
the
never surfed
Hawaiian.
before, but
I've
I am a
never
Florida
surfed
girl.
before either. But
You ever surfed,
we do
Scott?
live in Florida on
Oh,
the beach.
absolutely.
So
I surf
mahalo.
every other weekend. You know, being in the state of Florida, you never know how big those waves are going to come coming down. You know,
Someone's gonna have to take me surfing. Look at that. Look at that. Did you guys know that Scott surfed? I had no
oh,
clue.
absolutely.
Are you-
All my- all
we're
my
not talking about
fans know about
surfing
my
the
surfing.
web, Scott. We're talking about like surfing.
Well, he
No,
was
of
talking
course not.
surfing the web.
I
but-
know. I had to say it. I was kidding.
Why would
I
you
was
need to
kidding.
surf the web when you have your best, sites favorited? You know, they're bookmarked.
I dig that.
I'm not surfing anything, and I'm not going to tell you what those are. But here's
Hey,
know
wait,
what?
before you give the amount, Doug, what was your call for tonight, brother?
Bark at the moon.
Bark at the moon.
Bark
Doug
at the
says
moon and
bark.
why?
And which one was inning?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Which one's
So I'm like completely outvoted here
In the
tonight.
studio, he's outvoted.
Completely outvoted tonight, 3-1, and it
And you
kind of
guys-
seems that that's the way that the poll actually went too. Actually, this one was much more of a landslide than most of the other ones. We do.
Absolutely. We're talking, right now, as it stands right now, 68% bark at the moon. So with what time we have left, you guys are going to have to vote a lot if you want to go Todd's way. But, if you don't, it's not a big deal.
Hey, I don't care, man.
It's no big deal because the
I like
person
to be. I like to be different and stand out. Be
We
unique.
know you do, Todd.
and we
know
only
you do.
beat him for like 15 minutes straight just because he was.
and I liked it.
Oh,
He
man.
said he liked it. Look at that. He's like, he liked it. He looks so
He's going to
innocent.
start
too.
voting wrong every
He
time.
looks so innocent.
That's because I am.
Well, here we
Scott,
go.
you've known him the
Ba-doom.
longest. What do you think of that statement?
I can't comment on air. Todd's a really nice guy.
So Kathy Myers is watching. She said, "I'm watching, Doug. Please tell me your part in this."
My mother.
So Mom wants to know what your part is in this. Todd, I'll let you tell Doug's mom.
So Doug is the man behind the scenes. Doug handles the graphics, all the graphics that you see going across our screen. Anytime you see graphics coming up, any of the videos that get played, any problems with audios, it's Doug's fault.
Oh, of course. If it's going great, it's my fault.
Yeah. If it's going great, it's because we're here. I'm just joking, actually. But thanks so much for Doug because he does a lot behind the scenes. He handles all the audio and all the graphics that you see on the screen.
And then Kathy said, "I heard them talk to you. This is so cool."
No,
So Mom
that's
totally
like a
digs what you're
nutshell.
doing, Doug. Very cool.
Mom says hi, Doug.
We got to say hi, Mom. We got to say
Hi,
hi, Mom.
My mom.
Hi, Mom. Mama Myers.
No, seriously, Doug's a big part of the show. I mean, we are fortunate to be able to go up here and talk and talk and talk and not have to worry about the camera, not have to worry about graphics, not to worry about sound level, and not, the list goes
heck
on and
yeah.
on and on. So, Doug's the highest paid person here, to be honest with you. Looks like
He's laughing because none of us get paid.
I was paid. I paid you guys in Funyuns and Tahitian treat. Look at that.
everything
right.
I could possibly. Okay, let's stop there.
yeah,
but
let's just move on.
Yeah, because everything that's coming out of my mouth
Just
isn't
be
good at this point.
rambling on and on. Name that band. We open for them.
No, just keep it going.
Faster Pussycat. Let's step into the spotlight. And it's more babbling on. Yo, we're back.
We are.
Rounding out the
I
show
missed
tonight.
us.
I missed us too. We got a couple more songs for you from Crush Tone.
He's like really getting into that.
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute. Let me see. Right. Crush Tone. Did I tell you guys that I was in Atlanta over the weekend and I had a problem with my room and I called down to the front desk and I told her, and by the way, my allergies have been really, really bad. So I was like,
So mine.
I was like, hey, we got 2 bathrooms and the toilet's not working in one and the shower's not working in the other. And she was like, okay, sir, we'll get that fixed for you. And I was like, okay. And then she called me sir like 3 more times. And I was like, my name is Michelle. And she was like, okay, sir. And I go, okay, I'm
I
not
would
a sir.
punch that
So
in the-
I know, but wait a minute. So I go to the lobby and I'm dressed to go to the Rocklanta.
Right?
And I'm like, hey, I'm the gentleman you were talking to earlier. I had to do it like that. I was like, hey, I'm the gentleman you were talking to earlier.
I can remember countless times going shopping with my significant other at the time, you know, having long hair, and can I help you, ladies? And I turn around and like,
Oh yeah,
know?
I heard that several times when I had my long hair, ma'am. Like,
Did they call you ma'am?
Not a ma'am.
no, can I help you, ladies?
Oh, I've heard ladies, ma'am.
I
all
love
that.
it.
I mean, I've got really curly hair. when
Do
it's
you now?
long. Oh, yeah.
I have to know. I did you guys use the Aquanet? I want to know that.
Yeah,
Actually,
back in the
well,
day.
maybe early on, but
Is he getting ready up on stage?
Okay, wait.
Hang on. You
I
turning
totally dig this.
your hair upside down and spraying. I mean, I never did that.
So for those of you that don't know, I just carded Todd, and he was like a long-haired rocker dude here. Did you wear the spandex? I really need to know this.
Of course he did. I'll answer the form. I didn't even know back then.
I love the emphasis, Scott. Is you ready? Of course he did.
I just answered the phone.
all the rocker dudes wore spandex. Yes, as a matter of fact,
I love you guys.
there
Sporting
was
the
a time when I
Zubas,
was
you know.
I want to know what
sporting the
I wanna
zebra
know what
spandex.
you look like.
You know, I mean.
Did you see my picture from the 80s? So my bangs, I look almost the same. Well, I look younger, obviously, but my bangs went just like this. I went just like that, like in them. They were like this high.
Well, the sign said long-haired freaky people need not apply.
I used to have
There you
long.
go.
I used to have long hair. You know, I never wore glasses. You know, you think Jason Momoa only uglier?
Oh Did you see me? Did you see me like?
well, you know,
hold-
your wife got somebody.
You
close
know,
to
all
it then,
women do
you know,
that when you
yeah.
mention Jason Momoa, right,
yeah,
ladies? I
yeah.
mean, I gotta say, that name just makes me go.
You know, if
His
the guy
wife
were a
is-
little bit
Oh
lower
my
on the totem
goodness.
pole, I mean, I would go to Comic-Con and see if he wants to jam because he's a bass player too.
He was supposed to be at that event, but he canceled.
No, he keeps canceling. My wife wanted to go.
I know.
to
I was
Comic-Con
supposed to
in-
go. I would have totally
in
taken. We
Dece-
could have done a
Texas.
girls trip.
Oh, that's a bummer for
Oh, I
her.
know. It would have been so great.
My son
going
had
up
him.
and marking out to this guy, and like
Have you seen the pictures that he does?
he's pushing out like the
He's
boyfriend.
pushing
to
the boyfriend
Yes,
out of
I
the
have.
shot while he's
I
hugging
have.
the girl.
I have, and I desperately wanted a photo with him.
love
So
that.
I was
See, I
really
wish
kind
they're
of sad,
great.
right?
do the same picture, but with him in a headlock. But I mean, you know, the guy's like 6 foot.
He would totally
like
do it. No, he would
20
totally do
zillion
it.
I
times
bet he'd
me.
totally do
My
that.
son
No,
met
he's
him.
cool,
He
though.
took him.
He'd
He
like
was
headlock
great.
you in.
Do you guys watch Game of Thrones? Do you do that?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, I
yeah,
can't-
it's starting
I
back
don't.
up
the
this
14th.
weekend.
The
Yeah.
14th Game of Thrones.
I
Game
can't
of
wait.
Thrones.
That's
I'm
going to be
ready.
awesome, man.
I know my wife
I'm
is-
just
is
disappointed
watching
that
that,
it's
but-
only got one more season.
Oh,
'cause
I
it's
know.
fantastic.
I know. What an
They're
incredible
supposed to do
series.
a pre-show though.
Yeah, you know, my son is having a Game of Thrones party, and I really want to go, but I'm working my normal people's job that day, which I love my job. Don't
I just had to
misunderstand me,
binge
but-
watch the whole thing again to prep up for the new season.
So literally, I mean, if I
Todd,
came to
me
the
too.
party, I just walk in the door just like this.
all right,
You already know who I am, right?
I have no idea who you are.
Let me
you're
see
the-
it
you're
again.
the
I don't know
Let me
who
see
he
it again.
is.
I'm totally digging that. Let me see.
Just like it. Yeah, that's Jason Momoa. So
All right, so we got a couple more songs for you from Crust Tone, so check it out. This one is called. Wait a minute, I got the totally wrong name here. What's the song called, there, Doug?
Rise up.
Rise Up. That's it. Kick it.
Crush Stone.
Crust Tone.
On the back road.
We're just having fun tonight, rocking out a little bit with some Crush Tone.
Todd is really getting into that.
That was Rise Up by Crush Tone. Earlier you heard the song Prophecy, and this one is Love and Pain. This is actually my favorite of theirs. Yeah. Crush tone.
Crush
Screwed that one up.
You
Crush
guys are totally
tone.
enjoying that. Let me see if I can. Crush tone. Was that pretty good?
No, she did better than I did.
You know, these guys look innocent,
crushed
folks,
it.
but you know, you have no idea
I'm
what I
so
see when
innocent.
this thing is on a pause. Don't let their innocent
It's still innocent.
exteriors fool you.
She's trying to make me look bad.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, no, no.
I'm not that bad. I'm
How
just
could
drawn that way.
I could never do that.
So that was Crush Tone, Love and Pain, and I hope you enjoyed it. Crush Tone's great. Thank you guys so much for doing the interview with us. We appreciate you guys, and go out and see them if you get a chance. They're really, really killers. So
Absolutely.
we want to thank Crush Tone, of course, for everything, for letting us come out to the show and rocking with us, hanging out with us and all. And thank you to Bake More Pies for letting us do the show here. We appreciate that, Cords. You are awesome, brother. And everybody that works here is awesome. Just great, great place to be a part of. And we appreciate that. If you're looking to do a show similar to this or one of your own, whatever that may be, this studio is available, except for Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock when we're on. But you're more than welcome to contact Bake More Pies at bakemorepies.com. And no, it's not a pie factory. It is a marketing firm.
Mark.
And they market your company. I mean, seriously, like they like to say, why go after a piece of the pie when you can just bake more pies?
Yep,
Right?
that's the whole idea.
Absolutely.
So
Bake more pies.
And so they will help market your company, and they have a pro video studio downstairs that is just smokes this little room.
Oh, my
This
gosh.
room's pretty sweet, but that room is
This room's great, but
That room
yes,
is
I've
top
seen it
notch. We're
obviously
talking
because I'm up
major-
here, but
major
the studio
production.
is great.
major
It's good
production
stuff.
capabilities down there and stuff. So if you're looking to get some video production work done, this is the place to come to. If you need marketing, this is the place to come to. BakeMorePies.com. Check it out.
I mean,
So-
Tuesday at 8 o'clock is available for I think it's like $5,000. Which, since we've already built the following for you on this time slot, $6,000 probably more like it, but you would get by with a solid $5,000.
I
You'll
see
be
what
all
there's
right.
4 of us, and I'm going to split that a couple.
You know,
more
Scott-
like 8.
Scott's got this Clark Kent exterior, but obviously lurking underneath there is something else.
And it's not Superman.
It's not Superman, and no doctor would sign off on it.
I'm not sure what it is yet, but Mandy probably already knows. That's what I'm thinking.
I don't even know if she knows. I mean, it's crazy. So next week in the studio, we have comedian Artie Fletcher. And
Artie's
there's,
great.
There's his book right there.
That's the man.
He's going to talk to us about his career, what he's got going on. He's going to tell us about his book. Comedy on the Road as seen through the comic's Bloodshot Eyes.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Title.
cool. I mean,
Great
imagine
title.
That. It's a great title.
I saw Artie at a show. He was like with Gallagher actually when I saw him, which was great.
He
He's
just
with-
toured with Gallagher recently.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
We could go on and on. I mean, his I was
ArtieFletcher.com.
going to say rap sheet, but I don't know anything about that. But he may have
think
something
so.
back in the day. This guy's been doing this stuff for a long, long time. Since like college days.
Yeah.
Straight up down to earth guy. I mean, again, look up Artie Fletcher. I mean, you'll see all his credentials. I mean, he was just on Jimmy Fallon's show about a month ago. He was telling
was he
me
really? That's
last
cool.
Wednesday. He was talking to me about that. We have to take a little pay cut to be on our show, but I mean, he's gonna pump everything that he's doing and everything. And again, I mean, he's just solid dude. Great guy.
We're going to make him sit on the Def Leppard couch.
Yep. And I mean,
I like the Def Leppard couch.
I love those
I
couches,
think it's
man. They're
great.
great.
I want to take one home. Actually,
No.
I'm trying to talk Todd into it, but he says no.
No. They're
Look, he's
for the
like,
show.
No.
No. So Artie will be here in studio with us, artiefletcher.com. If you want to find out more about him, check it out, and make sure that you tune in next Tuesday night for that.
yeah, get your
Artie's a
questions
great
locked
guy.
and loaded and ready to go. That
Absolutely.
way you can ask them because, again, this guy's going to be a firecracker.
You want to find out more about Crush Tone, Facebook, Crush Tone Band.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean,
Check it out.
as far as those guys go, I mean, you've heard what, got a small taste of what they can do already. A solid, hard-hitting band. Book them. If they have any openings coming up in the next year, you're going to want to fill them at your club. It doesn't matter what part of the country you're in. I mean, obviously you want to check them out.
Yeah, it's a good idea. And don't forget to check out our girl Michelle Thursday night, Rock Rage Radio.
Oh, thanks.
Heck yeah.
Shaking the rafters.
Shaking the
Gotta
rafters.
say it. Shaking the rafters.
Shaking.
Yeah, you know, my kids get the biggest kick out of that. So I was at Disney with them one day, and we went Facebook Live, and I had to go to each of them. They were all like, "We're shaking." All of them had to do it that way. So shaking the rafters with Michelle, right? Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern on Rock Rage Radio, rockrageradio.com, right?
Absolutely.
And actually,
Shameless plug.
we want to say thank you to Dee for helping us start up this show and being a part of it. She's awesome, great friend, and just a wonderful person. And we love you, girl. And sorry that you had backed out of the show and stepped down. She had a lot of things going on there. So those of you who are wondering what happened to her, that's what happened, unfortunately. We're still great friends with her, though. She's just a wonderful person and a really great friend.
Absolutely.
And we greatly appreciate you and everything you did to help us get this show started. We appreciate Angie much more for being in here on the show. She came in and sat in with us for a while. And what a lot of you didn't know is the fact that we were actually auditioning people to replace Dee. And then we had Michelle come on the show, and she just killed it. And we have officially made Michelle our co-host for the show from here on out. So
Wow,
welcome.
I'm excited about that. So so it's my pleasure to meet everybody. Looking forward to getting to know your viewers as well, and those fans and friends of Angie. She may be filling in for me periodically here and there. So you
Absolutely.
may not have
No.
seen the last of Angie. So thanks to her for
No, you don't want to
graciously
either.
agreeing to do that in case of my absence. So I appreciate Angie.
Yeah, you
doing
never know
that.
when that'll happen.
So, and happy belated birthday. I hope you guys had a great time at her birthday.
Oh, we
party
had a
as
lot
well.
of fun. Yeah,
Absolutely.
It was a good time.
I wish it wouldn't have been done in the middle of the week.
Yeah, I know.
It's a little,
And you guys got a big
little
event coming
I
up as
honestly
well,
don't
right?
know how much
Well,
she
you know,
remembers.
well, yeah. I mean, she's got the big benefit for her father on April 20th.
Right. Right.
We showed that earlier, like at the beginning of the show
Yeah.
or whatever. Maybe we'll show that again.
Yeah, she's her dad was a huge part. I don't know if you knew him or not, but Gary Muchmore was a
Gary
huge
Muchmore.
part of the
I
Tampa
didn't know
Bay
him
music
personally,
scene.
but I know him through all of you.
Yeah,
and the people
yeah,
who
I mean-
have spoken
He
so
worked with
highly of
Sabotage.
him,
He worked
you know.
with a lot of major bands and toured with a lot of nationals and stuff and did some major shows. I mean, when Livestock was happening with 98 Rock, he was like the guy for Livestock.
I mean, yeah,
when it
he-
comes to stage management, he did sound for it and everything like that. And you're talking about a major 3-day event with 30 bands.
Solid
so,
guy.
I mean,
and that's
the
just one
kinda,
of the things, I mean,
skillful, but he is also in the band Messiax.
Yeah.
It's just a great musician as well, and just talented all around, and just a really, really great guy.
I mean, if you were to have, any local musician here, on the couch and ask about him, I mean, anybody's going to have some experience, going to have some stories to tell. I mean, not like
Absolutely.
From a playing standpoint. I've had him run production, for more than one of my bands before, and, but I've also started working for him like, just being like the low man on the totem pole. Rib Fest. We got a festival that unfortunately just got canceled. I don't know why, but it's like a huge event where people do all this barbecue and whatnot.
Yeah,
but
they
I mean,
canceled it after 30 years.
Yeah. I mean, I ended up running, working that show with him, and had the privilege of getting abused by him since I was the lone man of the totem pole. I
Well,
mean,
you're good at what you do when you got all the major radio stations bringing you in for their big events.
Absolutely,
like
absolutely.
97X and 98 Rock and all those guys would bring them in to work. When you're being booked for stuff like that,
We're talking the biggest festivals that we have here.
Yeah.
Right.
He was getting calls to run it. So, I mean,
the city's doing
this
the big
guy's
festivals
solid.
like that, and they're bringing in him. The guy knows what he's doing. He's good at what he does. So
Sure.
very well
Absolutely.
respected in the music industry here and stuff. And he was a great guy. And we appreciate you, Ange.
Absolutely. So,
In fact, Doug,
Sir.
why don't you go ahead and play that one more time? All right.
And
And then
we
we will close that out right after that. You can go ahead and kick off the closing of the show. And for the closing video tonight, we have a short instrumental by Crush Tone called Reckoning that will be played. But be sure to visit our website, thesoundeffectshow.com, where you can see previous shows and find out what's going on with the show, who's coming up. You can check out our show calendar for that. While you're there, be sure to click on the links, visit our social media pages, and add us, like us, and subscribe to us. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week right here on The Sound Effects.
We will.
Absolutely. Have a great night, guys.
Have a good night.